Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Green Room Podcast. I'm Matthew Brune, and joining me once again is Colin Mitchell. Colin, how are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you, Bruni?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. And now this week, last week we had Rod Brown on. This week we're moving back to the linebacker spot. We got Larry Nixon, the third on, senior linebacker for North Texas. Larry, how are you today?
I'm doing really good. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I was looking through how long you've been at North Texas now.
I knew you were going to open with this.
This is year 6.
6, man.
Years.
I got here when I was 17. I'm 22 now.
Damn. Yeah.
Dang.
I mean,
Who you telling? Who you telling, man?
well, because obviously we covered the team back. We started covering the team in 2017. So we've been there for you since 2018 basically. Your first year was our second year covering the team. And it's always been like Larry Nixon, man. Larry Nixon. I remember in like 2019, I was like, this Larry Nixon guy is showing some flashes.
Yeah.
And he just kept building on that. Now we're going to year 6, where you're an all-conference player. Do you feel old, or is it wisdom? What's the feeling?
More, man, old and wisdom at the same time. Really, 6 years of 5 years of football, man. It's tough on you, but it's all good though. I love it. I love what I do. Love being love being an example for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Been here so long.
Yeah, I mean, you're not like Austin Ani yet, where you're
Yeah,
29.
I got, man. Me and Austin came in together actually, and he was way older than me then. He's still way older than me, so he got me beat.
Well, I mean, first, let's just we can start with like last year in your career, I guess, to this point. What has I guess in a big picture, what has it been like for you at North Texas? Just what has kept you there? Obviously, with a lot of people transferring, moving around everywhere. What is it about North Texas that's kept you there and keeps you playing?
Well, really, this is home for me, man. I'm from down the street, Fort Worth, Texas. You know what I'm saying? So that's really one big thing for me that kept me staying. And I have a lot of hope for this place. You know what I'm saying? This is my only offer. You know what I'm saying? And like loyalty is a big thing for me. And so like they took a chance on me, and I just wanted to stick around. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm still here today, really. So.
Was that you kind of had the same mindset during the coaching change as well? Obviously,
Uh,
and I would say everyone did, because I think Rod Brown brought up how y'all are like really close, and that really helped, and y'all like to, like you said, North Texas is where they want to be. Did that kind of have the same mindset?
No, it really is. I love everybody in my defensive room. You know what I'm saying? Like even like Kevin, Jordan Brown. I came up with these guys too. You know what I'm saying? And like they're my brothers, man, for real. And I like that. Take that seriously. Like I really take that seriously, man. Like I really want to be one. I don't want to be nowhere else. And I don't like meeting new people. You know what I'm saying? So that's really
Fair enough.
Same with me. Same with me.
for me.
Yeah, I feel that. I don't like meeting new people either. I mean, hey, Kevin's been here. Kevin got here in what, 2019?
2019, yeah, year
Something
after
like that.
me,
Year after. He's not young either anymore. It's
yeah. Nah,
crazy.
he
Because I
up there.
remember,
He up there with me for real. So.
yeah, 'cause I remember him coming here from Judson, because I'm from San Antonio, so
Oh, yeah.
I knew about him early. But well, you mentioned Kevin and Jordan. We can just start talking about them. What are those guys? What has their approach been? What have you seen from them, and just how confident are you in this linebacker group? Obviously, with KD now moving on.
We've always had good players like Jordan Brown. He does his thing on special teams. It's time for him to step up and play into that role. And Kevin, Kevin always been that guy to come in, and he does what he has to do every time. He's always been a good player. Even from when he first got here, he's always been a good player. So I'm really excited to see what we're gonna do as a linebacker room, and then what we do as a defense in general and our offense as well. Even on that side of the ball too as well.
Go ahead, Colin.
Earlier you brought up, or I guess Bruni brought up you getting older and being more wise. Is that kind of helping you, I guess, become a more of a leader in the locker room, especially after KD's left?
Oh, definitely. And one thing for me, I'm more of a like lead by example guy. Like I never been much of a vocal guy, and that the change for me is really like becoming more of a vocal guy now, and like And, like still lead by example, but also like bring the team with me, like with my words and my wisdom as well. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah. How have you
What was
adjusted to that? Oh, sorry.
no, go ahead, Con.
like so I gave my first speech to the team this past Tuesday, like a little pre-practice speech, and like it wasn't that good, but it just takes practice. It's like something you practice. You know what I'm saying? Like I've always been like a natural leader, but like it's harder for me to like get in a group,
Yeah.
and then actually like speak to a group rather than like one on one. That's my thing. I'm more of a one on one person. Bring guys with me. Like that's the kind of person I am. So.
That's a good point because a lot of times, like at least for me, in a group setting, it's like you imagine something in your head or you rehearse something in your head, and then you get there and you're just kind of like, I don't know how that
I'm
sounds and
the
stuff like
exact
that.
same way, man. I promise you. I'm like the exact same way.
Yeah, I started coaching a ninth grade AAU team, basketball team, and so I kind of had that same thing where it's just like, all right, say this, and then I get there, and I'm like, I don't really know how they're gonna take this, so then I kind of just
Yeah.
flip it and stuff. So, but yeah, you're right. Like one-on-one teaching is a lot easier as far as when you're like the experienced one, you're the teacher and all
hmm
that stuff. So
hmm
that is something that you'll get better at it with time.
That's what spring's for.
That's what
Yeah. No.
spring.
Exactly. So I'm just gonna keep working on it. So I can be
Yeah,
that guy for everybody. Everybody can lean on me. You know what I'm saying?
for sure. I want to talk a little bit about last year for y'all because it was we talked about with Rod a bit, just going through the ups and downs of the season, but then playing in the conference championship game. Um, so y'all were playing for something the whole time, even though y'all had the ups, the downs, and all that stuff. What was that like for you to go through that season and know that it was kind of a big year for y'all?
It was really more of like a mental thing, you know what I'm saying? Like you said, we were going on up and down, but it's really just thinking about like on the other side, like if we keep pushing and keep grinding together, what's gonna come out of this? And we did get to the championship game, we did get to a bowl game. Sadly, we didn't come out on top of those like we wanted to, but it was really just a great experience, like being part of that, like being that atmosphere, man. Like I remember the championship game, like being on the field, like just coming out the tunnel like that. I remember those are things you remember. You know what I'm saying? It's like experience that you remember, and like I really want to get back to that. Like, and that's really what's pushing me now. Like I want to get back to that. I want to be able to get have that feeling again. Like you know what I'm saying? So
Is there a moment? I mean, you kind of mentioned remembering that, but is there a moment in your career that you like look back on like that was the highlight, like that's the highlight of your career, like that's the moment you'll remember forever, or or are you kind of just do you have that moment? I guess.
I mean like so I guess like one big one for me was like my sophomore year when we played Rice. This is like my first ever play ever like that. I did myself. I caused a fumble. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? And that's one play I always remember in my mind and like having that feeling and everything. But like other than that, like uh, I couldn't say anything other than that right now at the moment.
Hmm.
Like last year was a great year and a great learning experience for me. Me like just sitting back and like just watching things happen and like being part of it and like so really like I hope we can make more memories like that in this next coming up season for real.
Moving on to the new season, how are you adjusting to the new defensive coaching staff and the new schemes that they've been putting in place?
At first, honestly, like I was kind of like skeptical and nervous about everything, but like getting them in, like and Capone, he's a great coach. Like he knows what he's talking about. Coach Kratz, my linebacker coach, he's a great dude. He knows exactly what we need to be doing, and like he knows how to handle us really well. Like these coaches know how to handle us really well, and that's like one big thing for like us, like as a defense. Like you know what I'm saying? You know,
Do you talk to Coach Jennings at all?
yeah, yeah, back a little bit, not as much. He was here a few years ago as well,
Yeah.
and then also when my pops was in college, Jennings was the safeties coach back in Sam Houston as well. So they're pretty tied in pretty well too. So
Yeah. Damn, you're dating putting a date on Coach Jennings saying your dad played for him.
yeah,
But yeah, I remember Coach Jennings that first stint. I talked to him a little bit. So I didn't know if you we're still tight from that a little bit, even though it's different positions. But um, as far as linebackers go in this scheme, what do you think will be the main difference for y'all coming out of Phil Bennett's scheme going into this scheme, is there anything that stands out to you as far as something you'll do more of, do less of, anything like that? And you can
I
be as
know.
specific as you want.
I got you. I know for myself, I'm playing out in space more, and
Hmm.
I'm fine with that. I'm a fast guy. I love covering. I love making plays. Love tackling. You know what I'm saying? That's a big thing. For inside backers, there's a lot of hitting for them and everything. So, and I don't got to be a part of that as much, and
Hmm.
that's lovely for me. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not, what I'm saying, I'm not in that mix no more like that. So that's
Yeah,
really one big thing for myself, like playing Sam being more in space and that's be
yeah,
match.
yeah. You gotta take care of your body, and you're sick.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
It
yeah,
is-
for real.
Year six.
They're taking care of me for real, like literally, like taking care of me for real.
that's
It's
good.
funny. What's your goal during the spring game? Like, is it momentum, or is it like figuring a couple of things out? Because I've always wondered that with players. Is it, are you just out there to play, or is there like a specific goal in mind moving into the spring game?
For me personally, it just be perfect. Like strive for perfection in everything I do. Don't miss any assignments. Be fly to the ball, run to the ball. Just be locked in every play. You know what I'm saying, and be able to like I said earlier, like lead, like keep leading the team, leading the defense. You know what I'm saying. Like that's one big thing for me. That's one big thing for me has been like for the whole spring actually.
We've talked about Kevin and we've talked about Jordan a bit. Um, who are some young players on this defense, or if you want to do linebackers, you can do that too, that have stood out to you, that are guys that you think we should know about or we should talk about?
Young players. Carson Crops. He's not young. He's as old as me, but he's coming up. He's coming up. He's coming up. Carson has been balling. Carson has
Yeah.
been balling. He's gonna be a big part of the defense this year. Jalen Smith played a lot of special teams last year. He's behind me. He knows what he do. He knows what he's doing pretty well. Ethan Weslowski coming up too, as well as Grady Brewer. Everybody we've been like in a room. We've all been coming up together like everybody's on top of their things, and so like we're gonna be pretty deep in that linebacker room this coming up season.
All right, we'll get Carson on and tell him that you called him young initially when we
And then swapped it to old like
Yeah, he's
immediately.
older than,
and then immediately called him old.
he's 23. He's 23. I'm 22. He's older than me.
Who's the oldest guy on the team now? Do you know?
Mm,
I'd have to think about that.
I maybe Carson. No. John Davis. John Davis is 24 years old. John Davis is old. John Davis is old. He's seventh year, man. So he got me beat. Everybody talking about some 6 years, 6 years. He's seventh year. So yeah, y'all gotta get on him first.
That's getting close to a decade. That's
Man, and it's crazy because like I was thinking about this the other day. I've been here for half a decade.
Yeah,
Half a decade. I wasn't
Yeah.
even in high school that long. You know what I'm
I
saying?
know.
Like
that is crazy when you think about it.
crazy. It's crazy. But I love it. I love it though. Like
Yeah, for sure.
want to be nowhere else. Yeah.
For sure. Rod Brown said he squats 585. What do you squat?
Man, 525, 530.
You're in the fives? There
Oh
you
yeah,
go.
no. We lift. Yeah, we lift.
We
Don't
lift.
get me wrong. My leg. Don't ask me about my bench though. Don't ask me about my bench. I'm more of a leg guy. I love leg day.
Oh man.
Do you
It's
have
like
a
the
max?
opposite. Go.
On what bench?
Yeah. No, on squat.
What did I do last time? 195 plus
Oh,
10,
I couldn't
25.
imagine adding all those.
About
Yeah, just like-
535, 545.
45. Okay. All right, that's good. That's good. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Well, then I mean, technically, if you go by like ratio of weight to
Oh yeah,
weight,
pound for pound. Yeah, pound for pound. Yeah, I'm there.
pound for pound, I think you got Rod Brown beat. All right, we'll have to update the leaderboard.
Update the squat leaderboard. That's funny.
Yeah, I gotta get mine in. See what my ratio is here. All right, let's see what else we got. Colin, anything else?
I was gonna ask the question we always like to end with, if you're ready for that. So we ask everybody, what's a specific hobby that they have that's different, that's not really related to football, or skill that's not related to football. So like DeAndre Torrey a couple of years ago said that he's a big bowling guy.
Okay.
Rob Brown last week said that he just likes to sit on the couch, watch movies, and eat some food. So what's yours?
Man, I had to give up a lot of my hobbies, but I'm a good dad now. I'm a good dad now.
Ooh,
That's,
there we
There
go.
you
that's
go.
one thing.
Congrats.
I
Yeah.
use that one. I use that one. I'm a good dad, man. I like to
That-
think
that's-
I'm a good dad. That's one of my hobbies, taking my son, just playing with him, messing with him, like going to the park, whatever. I love doing that. That's what I love
yeah.
doing.
And then sport. If you didn't play football, what's your second best sport?
Man, we playing tennis. Ugh. Ugh.
Tennis.
We playing tennis. We playing tennis. No head injuries, no nothing. I'm playing tennis, man. That's what I should have started with, really. And they get paid too. And they get paid too. I should have played tennis.
I was not expecting that answer.
Yeah,
Bernie's a
tennis.
big tennis guy. He plays tennis, like right, like
I'm a
he
big
is in
tennis
like a
guy.
league.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
yeah.
played tennis and basketball in high school. Those were my two. That's funny.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Rod Brown said shot put. He's doing shot put apparently. I didn't check to see the stand, or he's doing it
He
next year.
lied. He lied to y'all. He not doing no shot put.
Oh,
He's not
no.
doing it?
No.
What you mean he's not doing it?
He not no shot put. He not doing no shot.
What? He's
Yeah.
going to the meet after the spring game.
You believe that?
I don't know. That's what he told us.
Do two sports athletes exist nowadays? I mean, like, come on, more likely not. You know what I'm saying? There's a few guys I've seen. You know what I'm saying? But sorry,
Yeah, call Rod.
Yeah, get him up.
Yeah, call
Sorry.
Rod. I don't even. We'll leave it. We'll leave it. We'll leave it. I won't bother him. I won't bother him now. All right, we'll get to the bottom of this. We'll see. We'll see.
Hey
We'll see
man,
what happens.
hey maybe he will be. I'll be surprised if he is. I go to the track meet too to see if he's there.
Okay, yeah.
I
Report
highly
back
doubt
to
it.
us.
Yeah, he's the investigative reporter on Rod Brown now.
Yeah, report back to us. Let us know. All right. I think that's all we got. We have 15 minutes, 16 minutes. Got everything in. But yeah, man. We appreciate you for joining us. We'll
No,
we'll
of course,
definitely
man.
have to get
Thank
you
for
on
having me.
again over the summer.
Yeah,
You know,
for sure.
we'll see what you get that bench press up a little bit. We can get you back on.
I
We'll
got you,
go
man.
from
I
there.
appreciate y'all for having me though, for real. Like, it's nice, man. For real.
For
I
sure.
like
Yeah,
talking.
man.
It's cool.
Yeah,
It's cool.
for sure. We appreciate you coming on. And yeah, we'll wrap it up there, man. Thanks for joining us.
You do, man. Hey, y'all have a good day, man. For real.
You too, later. See ya.
All right, later, man.
All right, and we are now joined by Reed Smith of Mean Green 24/7. Reed, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty well, Matt. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. Colin's doing well as well, but that's all right. We're not worried about him right now. We have
Wow.
very pressing matters to get to on this podcast.
Yeah.
Spring continues. We had you on 2 weeks ago, so it's been a couple weeks of spring ball. I know the spring games coming up this weekend. Outside of quarterback, which we'll spend a lot of time talking about quarterback, but outside of that, what has stood out to you? What are some notes that you have over the past couple weeks that you want to, kind of like talking about?
I think that safety and offensive line have stood out to me the most personally. There are those two impact transfer, or what we thought were going to, and still could be impact transfers, in Paolo Vaipulu and Larry Moore on the line.
Mhm.
But they haven't made an appearance in the first team yet, so we'll see if that changes in the fall. But the offensive line, I think the big story there is that Jet Duncan has moved to center for the last two practices that media was available at, and obviously the last spring scrimmage. And finding a replacement for who's the talisman of that group in Manasseh will be a story going forward. And, from what we've seen, Jet looked pretty good on last Saturday, but it's not a position that he's played in about a year.
Yeah.
So that will continue to develop. And then just in terms of safety, I think it's interesting to see that, Bryce Linder was the standout safety on last Saturday's scrimmage, on the second team. And, I told y'all last week or a couple of weeks ago that Phil Hill was going to be my guy to watch. He's been pretty solid. Looking like at the moment that safety group, moving to the 3-3-5, I think that it's going to be Phil Hill, Logan Wilson, and who are kind of carrying that group a little bit there. So a lot of things going on, lots of things to talk about.
We've heard from players that Nick Nakwasa is
Yeah.
a good player. How does he factor into this defense?
So he's playing the star position. So that's kind of their aggressive middle safety role.
Hmm.
Um, I'm still trying to figure out all the different
Is
names to all the
is it like a
positions.
nickel type
Yeah,
thing?
it's a nickel. So
Okay.
he emphasized to us and I say us, me and Brett Vita, when we were there
Mhm.
last week when we were speaking to him, that he's going to be, rushing the quarterback a little more than
Okay.
he's used to. So that's kind of the star role. It's not quite the hybrid that, UNT fans saw previously with the Eagle of the last few years, but it's certainly a more, you know, quarterback pressure role than Nakwasa has been a part of.
Sorry. How have the linebacker? Because we just talked to obviously Larry Nixon today, and he was talking about he was playing in a lot more space. How's the linebacker position look different to you in the scrimmages?
I think what Larry said is accurate. I think they're playing with a lot more space, and with the loss of KD, that group is looking for a new leader, and it certainly looks like through everything that Larry Nixon is that guy. Uh, Jordan Brown has been pretty good this spring, so those are the two guys going forward that I think you can pretty much pencil them in for starters going into 23.
Who's been the running back that's gotten the most carries, or has it really just been evenly distributed?
Well, Isaiah Johnson was out
Yeah.
for a few weeks, so he's been out. But other than that, it's been Io and Akaika, so the normal suspects at that.
And receiver? What are you seeing
Receiver,
there?
well, I've been pretty impressed by Trey Cleveland. I mean, he's not, been like outstanding or anything, but he makes a difference on the field. And I think if I was gonna give you one receiver, I think could be a huge difference going forward, it's Detravian Brown. Obviously, we knew he was a deep threat from his 2021 performance. I think everyone remembers that UTEP catch that
Hmm.
set them up for the game-winning field goal. But during spring and during the scrimmages, I mean, Reuter has found him a couple times. Stone's found him a couple times from deep, and he's a tall kid, athletic, someone who can really be an impact player going down the line for UNT.
Yeah, it's another big receiver. So
Mm-hmm.
6'4", 6'5", 6'2",
Yep.
racking
Yeah.
up the big receivers.
You already kind of brought up two names that have kind of been, I guess, bigger than we thought they would be in Stone Earl and Jace Reuter. Are they kind of, I guess, the ones battling it out? Because it almost seems like that looking at the unofficial stats. Obviously, Grant Gunnell is no longer in contention for that one spot. Who's really looked good for you?
Jace Reuter has just looked like the most complete quarterback so far.
That's
Which
crazy to me.
yeah,
Time.
and I think
It's time. Yeah.
yeah, and for people that covered the team and have watched the team, it seems like deja vu because Jace Reuter practiced extremely well in 2021, looked really good before the season started. That's how he won the job over
Yep.
Austin Audie. And you don't want to say fool me once, but I think especially in spring ball, it has to be taken with a grain of salt. Jace Reuter's performance. Not to say that, he's not going to end up winning the job and being the guy going forward. But I mean, like I said, we've seen this before, to where he practices really well, scrimmages really well, even going into fall in 2021, played really well in that camp and won the job. But, it's I'm very, very reluctant with spring performances. And then just to mention Stone Earl, I mean, he's been, pretty solid. I think that's another one where, Reuter and Chandler Rogers are getting the most first team reps. So they're playing against the first team defense predominantly. And then, you see Stone Earl mixed in more with the twos defense, sometimes with three defense. So it's hard to really judge a performance based on spring scrimmages due to the level of competition that they're facing.
Right.
So Jace Ruder, this is his year 6.
Yep.
Like you said, we saw him in 2021, won the job, came out, was awful. Then they went back to Austin Ani, and we did a podcast. I think it was me and Colin or me and John. I don't remember who it was. Did podcasts on it and everything. A big thing with him was he was like physically imposing. Like he's a pretty decent, he has decent size, good speed. Do you see those physical traits still there, or is he just in the pocket kind of making all the throws?
The physical traits are definitely still there. I mean, if you stand next to the guy, he's a solid.
Yeah.
He's a solid guy.
Solid, yeah.
Yeah, just a big solid dude. So, the physical traits are there, and even the passing like mechanics are there. Jace Ruder, there was a reason he was a 4-star coming out of high school and went to North Carolina. There's a reason for that, but there's still a couple of underthrown balls. Roderick certainly has helped him a couple of times on some of those passes, but if we're overall, just off the top of my head, I'm not looking at notes or anything. I think he went like 12 for 17 with a couple of touchdowns and an interception that was called back.
Well, don't worry. Colin has the numbers in front of him. Colin,
you want me to read them all off?
Go. For the last game.
For all of them, I have everything combined. You want me to just last?
You don't have the last scrimmage anymore, Colin?
Yeah, the last scrimmage. Jace Rudy had 12-17, no interception because you said it got called back, 143 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah. I don't know what to call. I don't know how they call things in spring scrimmages. Play it out, man. It's a scrimmage.
Yeah, let them play. Let the boys play.
Exactly.
All right, JD. Real quick, what have you seen from Chandler Rogers? Because I feel like we haven't talked about him or even like know much about him at this point.
Not a lot. I think every writer, including myself, when Chandler Rogers, committed to UNT, I was like, okay, there's the starter. There's the 23 starter. It's not even a question anymore. 70% completion rating. But so far he hasn't really passed the ball much. When we brought this up to Eric Morris after last scrimmage, and he only passed it, I believe, like 6 times. Colin, you can check me on that. It was 4 to
5
6
times. Oh, sorry, 7 times. 7 times. My fault.
Yeah, 7 times. And, he hasn't really gotten to toss the rock much, whether that be because constant pressure or not.
Yeah.
His running is fantastic. Like, his scramble ability is the best on the team by far, and he's shown how athletic he is. There was a play at the scrimmage on Saturday where he broke out to the left, probably was going to be a sack if it was real game, but broke out to the left. He was about to run between the safeties. They called it off so he wouldn't take a hit. But, in the press box, we were like, if the play wasn't called off, he would have split the safeties more than likely. So the speed, the athleticism, the running and scrambling ability is there, but we just haven't really seen enough of his arm to really judge it.
Last question I have: spring game on Saturday. What outside of quarterback are you looking forward to seeing?
Man, I think I'm probably going to be keeping an eye on safeties a lot. I think because of the move to 3-3-5 and how important they are in Capone's defense, it's just so imperative that they're, one, physically able to play in that defense set, and then 2, fast and athletic enough. So from what we've seen so far in the scrimmages, they've been pretty decent. Logan Wilson particularly has been, going up against guys, and Morris said something about this 2 weeks ago, to where, Wilson has been going up against bigger guys the receiving core and Akaika Ragsdale, people like that, and winning those battles on the edge. So
yeah,
they'll need to be doing that across the board to stay successful. And I think at the spring game, they kind of have a chance to, for fall camp, show us what they can do.
Does Eric Morris have something he says all the time, or anything you've picked up on yet?
Not really. He doesn't have a one-day better or all 3 phases yet. We'll see if that develops over time.
All right. Keep us updated. Keep us
Yeah.
updated if he gets a slogan or something.
Exactly.
We need to print the shirts if he does. I feel like he can start saying some crazy. I don't know. I feel like he has something. I feel like he's like a low key, clever, like funny guy
Oh
in
yeah,
a way.
he's quick to the joke, and then I think the last two scrimmages he's been a little a little bit
Ha-
standoff, kind of
hasn't been
upset
in
at
a
the
joking
offense.
mood.
Yeah, if you watch the offense, then you can see why he hasn't been in a very big joking mood. But
So the defense has been winning consistently in both the scrimmages.
absolutely, no doubt, the defense have been the stars of the first two scrimmages. We'll see at the spring game, but so far, yeah, it's
We'll see how the spring game
defense
goes.
all the way. Yeah.
All right. Anything else, Colin?
I don't think so. I think I'm all right.
All right, Reed. We appreciate you jumping on outside the GAB live,
Yep.
making it
I
work.
got to go back to class.
All right, get back in there, man. Appreciate it, Reed.
Thanks, y'all. Yep.
See ya.
Thank you.
See ya.
All right, let's wrap this podcast up, Colin. Let's see. Let's get the formatting right. Let me turn off the banners or the logo, the names. Okay. What do you want to talk about? What stood out to you? You want to talk just quarterback? You want to just jump right to quarterback?
We'll just jump to. Well, actually, no. I actually have one other question because he didn't mention Oscar Attaway.
Well, he's still getting back to 100%.
Okay.
Like
How long has it been?
It's been a long time. I don't know.
Okay. So I thought that was interesting, but we can just jump straight into quarterback because obviously that's the thing that matters most. And if the offense isn't doing that well, usually comes back to the quarterback. Bruni.
Okay, Colin, you have the stats, the
Yeah.
totals from
Let
the
me
two
just-
scrimmages, unofficial stats from the two scrimmages. Can you read them off to us, please?
Yeah.
And also, we should preface this by saying Eric Morris said that they have their final four, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, Greg
for the
Gunnell's
quarterback
out.
position. Grant Gunnell is out. He's done. He's the like in American Idol when they send someone home.
Does that automatically make him the fifth string?
Yes.
Dang.
Grant Gunnell to fifth string quarterback.
How the mighty have fallen.
How the mighty have fallen. He
Anyways.
should enter the transfer portal. Go to somewhere to play.
Like where like Kaysen went, like some. Never mind. I'm sorry. That's mean.
I feel like he could play. He could play somewhere. He could play at
Rice.
Incarnate Word.
There you go. Incarnate Word. Boom.
Rice.
Anyways,
No,
here are the you just
Rice
said
has JT Daniels now, Colin.
Oh, right.
Don't sleep on Rice.
But they like to maybe they just want him for the name. I feel like they just like to splash. Anyways,
there you go.
Here are the four quarterbacks in contention. We'll start with Chandler Rogers through two scrimmages of unofficial stats: 7 of 14, 1 pick for 32 yards and 2 touchdowns. There is no run game included in that. Obviously, he's apparently shown off his athleticism. So take that for what you will. Then we get to Drace Ruder, the man himself, who has by far the best stats out of this group: 15 of 22, 211 yards, 4 touchdowns. Massive stat line. Stone Earl, the hero from last year, 11 of 18, 1 pick, 210, 2 touchdowns. And then JD Head, 11 of 18, 170 yards, 2 touchdowns.
It sounds like JD Head is the fourth string, just from talking to Reed.
Yeah.
Because he kind of said Jace Ruder and Chandler Rogers were running with the ones for the most part, and then you have Stone Earl running with the twos for mostly. So you look at the just straight comparison of Ruder and Rogers, and it's not even close.
Yeah.
Right. The numbers are not even close, and I mean we're talking 4 touchdowns. We're talking how many yards did you say for Ruder?
Ruder had 211 yards.
211 yards on what was the attempts again?
15 to 22.
15 of 22. So we're talking a little over about 9 yards an attempt. I mean, that's the thing. Coming out of North Carolina, I thought he was going to be able to win the starting job from Austinani. And we
thought it wasn't going to be close.
Before the 2021 season, I said you have to start Jace Ruder because we know what Austinani is. We know his limitations. We know the completion percentage, all that stuff. And I said, you have to start Jace Ruder and give him a shot at being great. You have to give him a shot at being that quarterback that can take you to the next level because Austinani, in our opinion, was not that.
Right.
Well, they did that. Seth Luttrell did that. To his credit, he listened to me. and started Jace Ruder, and it was god awful. Like, it looked like he had never played the position before. It was interceptions. It was awful throws. It was uncomfortable situations for him. And he was gone just like that. He benched, didn't play last year, no sign of him. And now we enter year 6 with Jace Ruder. Year 6 of not at North Texas, but in his career. First 3 years at North Carolina, last 3 years now at North Texas. So how likely is it that he's had the breakthrough moment? How likely is it that he has figured it all out? How likely is it that he is actually able to be better than what Austin Aune was? Those are questions I don't think anybody has the answer to.
Right.
However, I come back to there was a player at LSU. I'm not going to say his name, but there was a player that on the basketball court that was a great practice player, and the coaches, 2 different coaches, said, "Man, this guy's going to be great this season. This guy's going to do this and that." He gets in the games, he's awful. Well, I talked to Will Wade, and he's like, "Yeah, man, that guy's great in practice, but I don't know what happens in games." So now I have that in the back of my head. Whenever I see athletes just maybe not live up to their practice, performances,
Right.
and now I'm scared because what if that's what this is? What if it's literally just he's a great practice player and he's like physically great, like he's 6'4", like a rock, just looking great and everything like that. And then he gets in the games and he looks like he did 2 years ago.
Because I didn't cover the team last year. Did you watch this? Was he playing the spring game last year? Like, was he good again?
I don't remember the spring game last year, no.
Okay.
But he didn't. I mean, he didn't play at all last year. But obviously, this is a new coaching staff. This is my point.
Yeah.
Is that it's a new coaching staff, and seeing him for the first time, you might just be like, "Damn, this guy looks great," and he is playing great. 15 to 22, 210 yards, 4 touchdowns. Like these are great numbers, and he's doing it in a situation where Reed, Morris, all of North Texas Twitter is saying the defense is dominating.
Yeah.
So everybody says the defense is dominating, except for who? Jace Ruder.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say. I think you have to, if you are Eric Morris and Jace Ruder continues this performance through the summer and through the fall, you have to start him. If he puts up this caliber performance in every single spring game and scrimmage, and then goes in the fall and he performs like this, you have to start him.
Yeah. No, I mean, I completely agree. And I also wrote down the what they were out of high school. Jace Ruder obviously was 4-star. Chandler Rogers, we talked about, 0-star. We know the talent is there with Jace. Like you said, it could just be the sense of the practice player thing. But you need to start the guy that has, 1, the most potential, and 2, is showing you right in front of your face what he's capable of. And if that blows up in your face, then so be it. But I feel like this is what I'm afraid of. I don't want it to be a situation that it's been the last 4 years where we're flip-flopping because Jace is doing really well, and then we go back to a Chandler Rogers or we go to a Stone Earl. Are you at all concerned about that happening?
In year 1 of Eric Morris, I'm okay with it. I think I am. I think I'm okay with them not knowing. The problem is, the scary part for me is they start the season with Cal at home.
Yeah.
If Cal is it's a fine team. It's a fine team, but it is a winnable game if North Texas plays well and if they are actually a good team. Like, it's a winnable game. So for that reason is why I'm a little uncertain to where if you put Jace Ruder out there and he goes back to 2021 form, you lose that game. No matter how quickly you put Chandler Rogers in, if you put him in at halftime, the game's over. Like, that's my concern, is that you don't get to start off with an FCS school here. You start off with Cal at home. That's a big freaking game.
Yeah.
So you better hope if Jace Ruder rides this out and is actually this good, he is everything you see in practice, because if not, you're going to start off 0-1 in what is, in theory, a winnable game.
Right.
And a win that could set the tone for the season, for the Eric Morris era, build fan support immediately. Like, Because after that game, they go to at FIU and at La Tech. Even if you win those games, it's not at home. It's not. It doesn't build it up the same. And then you get Abilene Christian at home, and then you're Navy on the road, Temple. That's a win that can do a lot of things for this program.
Yeah.
And Eric Morris. And we talked about it last year, or was it 2 years ago? Whenever it was, where they had to change quarterbacks immediately. I think it was 2 years ago. And we were like, well, by the time you change quarterbacks, the game's already done. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So if Jace Ruder goes out there and throws a pick six, you're down 7-0 or you're down 10-0, and then you put Chandler Rogers in, and you can't really win.
Yeah, you're putting him in a bad situation.
Yeah. So that's why it's a tough spot to be in. Like I said, I have the practice player thing where some players just do better in practice than others. I've heard that a lot in every sport. In any sport, there are players that do well in practice, and there are players that do better in games. I think we can both agree the safer option is still Chandler Rogers, right?
Yes,
because of his
there's
completion percentage and his
who has the better
mobility.
college tape.
Yeah,
I mean, it's clearly still Chandler Rogers. What's weird to me is that's not showing so far in the scrimmages. Obviously, the spring game's coming up, so we'll see. I do think it helps that Chandler Rogers is still playing with the ones, and it's not the situation because obviously we don't know. It's not a situation where Stone Earl's also playing with the ones and performing better. So I think that's good. How much stock do you think Eric Morris will put in Jace Ruder's previous tape with North Texas and how he's seeing him now?
I think he should put something into it. But
if you had to split it, like if you're like, all right, we've seen this before. Like, do you think he's thinking that, or is he going, okay, let's just look?
I think he has to have a fair bit of skepticism. Like I said, Chandler Rogers to me is the safe option here. He's the one that I think they should be like, all right, Jace Ruder's gonna have to play out of his mind to win this job, and he is.
Yeah.
And so if he keeps it up, then okay. But we've seen we have no tape on Jace Ruder outside of the first 2-3 games of the season for North Texas in 2021, and they were not good. So that's the only tape we have. All right, Chandler Rogers said we have 2 years of tape on this guy. We know what he is at ULM. So I'm still with, if I had to place my money on who's going to be the starting quarterback game 1 against Cal, I'm still placing it on Chandler Rogers.
Yeah, I completely agree.
And we'll see. We'll see if Jace Ruder can keep it up.
Just to refresh everyone's memory, Jace Ruder in 2020 played 6 games, 54% completion percentage, 571 yards, 3 touchdowns, 5 picks.
Yeah.
So
it was not pretty.
No.
It was hideous. Actually, it was ugly. So, all right, that's it. We'll see how it goes. We'll get. I think we have another player on deck next week, so we'll get that. Then we'll have a spring game reaction, everything like that, and then we're gonna start getting coaches as well. So be on the lookout for that. A lot of good things planned for the Green Room podcast. Thank you all for getting us to 200 subscribers on YouTube.
205,
206 now, I think actually.
Yeah, my bed's not made again though. Sorry.
That's okay, Colin. At least you showed us that you know how to do it.
I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I didn't do it. It was like that, and I've just been sleeping on top of it.
Norma did it?
Yeah.
This man, Colin. Fraudulent bed maker. All right. But that's it. That's all we got for y'all today. Hope y'all enjoyed the episode. Follow us on Twitter at Green Room UNT. Follow us on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. If you are watching on YouTube, subscribe, leave a like, comment, and let us know what you think. Let us know. Do you think Jace Ruder is the quarterback, or is it going to be Chandler Rogers, or is it going to be Stone Earl? We'll probably run a poll at some point to get the pulse of the fan base. But yeah, I should have worn my. Let me go get it.
Okay.
My shirt, Colin.
What shirt? Oh, yeah, this shirt.
I forgot.
Well, you can wear it on the next. You can wear it on the next basketball
Look
podcast.
at that.
Isn't it weird that I have a shirt that has Grant's face on it? Like
No,
it's like
not.
he's not even here
It's
anymore.
not weird. It's not weird. Look at that. Mwah.
I keep seeing pictures of him in red. It's on my For You page on Twitter now because I kept clicking Texas Tech basketball, and now it's just everywhere. He's got like a nice like a light red blazer now. This dude he's living life.
He's living life. $3 million a year. He's doing well. He's doing well. All right. We will talk to y'all later.